Should you be buying Polygon Matic right now as the market does inch towards recovery and we have been seeing some potentially extremely bullish signs? Well, that's the question that I'm going to be answering in today's video. So of course, with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's skip the BS. Let's skip the fluff. Let's get straight into the good stuff. So what I've been paying attention to with Polygon Matic over the last couple of weeks has of course been this descending level of resistance, which was the, just the trend line, right? Now, what we were talking about on the channel was that we needed to see a couple things happen on a break of the trend line. Well, obviously we needed to see it break it. We needed to see it get the daily close above it. And then we needed to see it consolidate and backtest this as support. Those were the three big things that we absolutely needed to see once we got this break to be confident that Polygon was more than likely going to hold that level. Now, what we can see is that if we zoom down to the 4-hour charts, we broke out of this level, came back up towards $2.08, came back down to the trend line, held it as support, and are looking to continue back to the top side. And now this is a phenomenal sign, okay? This is an absolutely amazing sign that as the market did kind of slow down a little bit, Polygon was able to find some support on top of this previous level of rejection, which says that this very likely may have flipped and we could be looking at this growth from here. And so now that we, of course, are seeing that, though, we need to start talking about whether or not it's time to be accumulating. Am I going to be doing some buying, and exactly how I plan on going about this? Well, personally speaking, I don't think that it is the exact time just yet to be buying because there's a few more things we need to see happen, but I'm going to explain why those things could happen within a couple hours, within a couple days. It could be extremely, extremely soon. So now that we did see that Polygon, of course, did come back down and establish this level of support, what's going to be extremely important is that we work our way back up and clear $2.15. Now, what $2.15 is going to be is the macro Fibonacci swing high to swing low golden retracement zone. And now, generally speaking, when we see a move of this nature, when we retrace, we will go as high as that 786. And if we are going to bounce to the downside, it is the most likely that we will be rejected off of this 786 level into a continuation to the downside. And since that has still yet to be cleared, I don't want to get caught up buying right here if we may see a little bit of rejection into, more of a backtesting of support towards lower levels in which I can really accumulate at better times. Now, if you personally think that this is the move and that this is all great and you're okay with doing some little bit of accumulating here, putting in some, just smaller amounts and putting in some cash at this point, I really don't blame you because this has been a phenomenal move. But personally speaking, I'm more of the type of person to like to buy whenever we are seeing the strongest confirmation, and the strongest confirmation from me does come at the clearing of $2.15. The moment we clear 215, it makes it much more likely that we are going to retrace back up to this macro high up towards 250, and that's the type of confirmation that I want to be extremely confident in my next purchase, right? Because again, we definitely can be seeing something of a more micro dead cat bounce in which we bounce all the way into our retracement zone, retrace off of it, and then go into consolidation or a bit of a downtrend for a little bit longer before eventually resorting back up to the top side. So either way this thing goes, even if it does come up here and then we start to see it fall, that's going to be the first major clue on some 4-hour or even daily closes above here that we are very likely entering into the next phase of the bull market, which probably does look like more mass growth here, okay? And so overall, whenever it does come to just technicals, the structure itself, I would say not just yet, but it is coming very soon. I mean, that's a 14-cent move, which is only, that's only 7% from here. I definitely think it's very viable. Now, one way in which you could play this, in my opinion, is that if you went in and set a stop loss below your 618 level here, maybe somewhere under, let's go under this wick low. Let's go back towards $1.85. You definitely could do a buy at this point, hoping that we are going to work our way up and clear this with a stop loss set at about 185. That'll cover your downside again here, and you'll only be risking about 8% on that trade, with the possibility of seeing growth, of course, back up to this macro high, which could definitely look like 20+%. That could be a very viable trade. I may take that on myself. I will, of course, let my Patreon members know if I decide to do so, but at this point, I am just going to simply just wait a little bit longer while things are not 100% confirmed yet. Now, something that is influencing that mindset for me is the fact that whenever we look at something like Bitcoin is giving off the vibe that it could see a pretty strong retracement relatively soon to the downside. As we can see on the stochastic RSI, we are getting real close to what seems to be a top. Even if we do kind of consolidate here, these are usually the points in which we will start to see rollovers. If we look at something like the RSI, what we can see on the RSI on the daily perspective is that we are getting quite extended. For reference, you can see that from, our December highs to now, we are still extremely low. But on the RSI from our December highs to now, we are much higher, just kind of hinting that this is a bit of bearish divergence and that the bulls are not having as much success to the upside as the RSI would indicate. And so for all those reasons, it does feel as if that we may see some type of rollover in Bitcoin's price. And because of that, I think that will affect the rest of the market, which definitely could pull Matic's price down with it for this, the temporary time being. And so that is also another thing that is affecting my thought process on whether or not I would be buying Matic at this exact moment. Now, looking at Matic's indicators, we are looking pretty strong as well, but it is also giving some of those same signs on the daily perspective. As you can see, we're somewhat topped out on that stock RSI, as well as looking at our RSI here. We can see macro high to high, we are still at a lower high, but we have set the higher high here, which is another sign that this may be getting a bit extended and we may need to see some type of consolidation or pull back to the downside to allow some of these indicators to reset and then allow that forward growth. So if we clear 215, that says, okay, even if we pull back, likelihood is we're coming back for some support, whether it be at the 618, whether it be back at $1.70, and we're very likely going back up to this macro high, and that's when I want to be getting in. But even if we do pull back at this point, I'm looking for some type of support establishment at maybe $1.70, or maybe even back down on top of this 20-day simple moving average as we are extended into the top side of our Bollinger Band envelopes. That's where we could expect that first level of support to be. So if we start to roll here, do be looking as low as $1.70. I think that there could be a bit of a pullback to those levels over the next couple days, possibly even the next few weeks. But if we do start to clear 215, do expect a video coming from me like I'm mass accumulating on Matic, or I am getting in right now, because that will be, again, the last confirmation that I personally need to say, okay, this thing is gone, right? At that point, we've cleared the 50 moving average. We established successful support on top of the 200 moving average. And that is all fantastic, fantastic signs that we are seeing some growth. So overall, that's where I'm at on Matic right now. Very simple, very short, very sweet. I don't want to keep you here too long as I know you have things to do, but I am, again, just looking for the clearing of 215 or the rollover here, establishment of support towards some of these $1.70 to $1.80 levels. Now, obviously, if we do come back down below, like $1.50, that does kind of change the landscape of where we're at, and this is still not confirmed to be anything but a dead cat bounce, but I do believe we will hold support prior to that, and I think we're going to continue this thing over the near term, okay? So with that being said, that's going to be about it, right? Just a couple minutes of just talking about where I'm at with Matic. As we do start to see a lot more price movement, do expect these videos to shorten up a bit, and do expect me to kind of rapid fire them out as there's so much to talk about. You can also go ahead and follow me on Twitter. That's where I do a butt ton of technical analysis and just keep you guys up to date on the things that don't make it on the channel. So of course, do go check that out if you would like. And if you do want to stay as up to date as possible on these videos, you can simply turn on that notification bell when you subscribe to the Tyler Hill Investing channel. And I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. Peace.